this is what I was actually referencing. I have a post here, and I want to. This is really my jump off point here. I think I'll just actually I'll put it on screen. Hang on. This is from a post that I put up a very long time ago, and it's called "Saving the Best." And I'll try to move along as quick as I can through this. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it'll give you the gist of what it's about. This was from December 3rd, 2013. So that'll give you an idea of how old this is. Rollo's a grandpa. Yeah, well, okay. Let's see. To start off today's topic, I thought I would repost a Reddit. This is from a Reddit thread back in 2013. I received a link to back last week. Rather than give you my own summary of this guy's situation, I felt the impact would be more significant by posting it in its entirety. And also because I don't believe the guy really got a fair hearing on his original post. So this is actually the follow-up to his original post. All right, so this is not me. This is the experience of a guy, and you'll get it. Okay. I posted this earlier on another subreddit, but it ended up getting removed because of fighting in the comments. You'll understand why in a minute. I'll sum up what happened thus far. I met my wife 7 years ago. She was extremely picky when it came to sex. She told me she only has been with one other guy before. She would never give a blowjob, only do certain positions, and found almost every sex act degrading. I was frustrated by this, but I really liked her, and I hoped over the years she would open up sexually. Over the years, it never got any better, but I learned to get over it. This is a very common story, by the way. Guys who get into these situations, they get into a relationship with a woman, and they think they're getting that woman's sexual best. That's why I called this. That's why I called this saving the best, because even today, there's this presumption, and I think this is really kind of one of the points of contention that people have with body count. I don't think most guys, like when it comes to body count, like I've said, I don't care what the fuck your body count is, right? But I think one of the reasons why body count is such a point of contention for guys is because it's almost like retroactive cuckoldry for these guys. She's been with these guys and she must have done this with them, and she won't do that with me. But you would think that because I'm her husband, it's till death do us part. We're supposed to be husband and wife forever and ever. Amen. And yet she's not having sex with me as freely as I think she probably could. Like there's a suspicion. This was back in 2013. Okay. So we didn't have OnlyFans. We didn't have, I mean, there was online porn, but it was commercial porn. And so there's this presumption that if I'm marrying this woman, that I'm going to be the best sex she's ever had. She's going to be the best sex I've ever had. We're not going to hold it. Our lives are an open book. And if I'm into, having I want to reverse cowgirl with this girl, she should know that. And my boundaries, right? She should know that. That's not necessarily ever the case, but certainly not in this case. So, but most guys will get over it because they gaslight themselves. Like they don't expect more. So, well, I ended up finding an old video from her college days of her engaging in group sex with 6 other people, 5 guys and 1 girl. Now remember, this is 2013, so the likelihood of this is that this was like a VHS tape, or it is actually like an analog tape. Okay, so it's 2013, and she would have been in college. They've been together for 7 years, so it would even have to have been produced 7 years prior to that. So we're looking at like the early 2000s. So the odds are that this is like from like an old VHS tape of some sorts. Okay. Meaning there had to be somebody shooting this too. It's not a selfie. It's not like, hey, let's do like Destiny and just take a video, my iPhone, and we'll shoot it that way. It's 6 other people, 5 guys, 1 girl. In the video, she has oral sex, gets double teamed, and yells multiple times in the video, I am a filthy whore. All of it was enthusiastic. Through all of it, she was enthusiastic about it. I ended up feeling really sad. I can understand certain stuff people don't want to do, but it wasn't the fact that she didn't want to. It was the fact that she didn't want to do them. But it wasn't the fact that she didn't want to do them. She didn't want to do them with me. But every other guy she was with, was what she was with was their whore. I was angry, hurt, and I ended up saying some stupid shit to my wife. Maybe it wasn't so stupid after all. I asked her if she could drop our daughter off at her sister's house because I wanted to talk to her. She asked why. I told her we'd discuss it after she came back. I don't remember all of the details of the conversation, so I'll try my best to sum it up. I was drinking a bit and she came, which wasn't the best idea. Is there anything about your past that you have been hiding? Her. Why are we talking about this? I just want to know, were you in any type of porn or anything like that? Her. Are you taking drugs? I found your video from college with the other guys. I don't know who you are anymore, and I feel ill being around you. She starts crying. Do you have anything to say? She continues to cry. This was pointless. I go grab my keys to leave, and she tries to stop me. If you don't want me to leave, then I need you to be 100% honest with me and tell me why you lied to me for all of these years. Her. I didn't want you to think I was a slut. Me. I would have been perfectly fine if you told me. I would have loved to have done those wild things with you. Look, I get it. I don't turn you on like those other guys do. You like sucking, but not mine. She. It's not that. I didn't want you to think less of me. Me. No, it is exactly that. There's a thing lying about sleeping with other guys. It's not that you didn't like doing those things. You didn't like doing them. You didn't like doing them with me. I can do that stuff for you. I'm attracted to you. You know that. Me. I don't want you to do it because you feel like you have to do it. Again, here we come back to genuine desire versus obligated compliance. Because what this exchange up to this point is a negotiation of genuine desire. She didn't want to do it with him. If she did, she would have. If she would be more into it. She would be more. There'd be acts that she would want to do with him. Okay, I don't want you to do it because you feel like you have to. I want someone that actually desires me. And this is the crux of the entire argument here. I can change. I promise. Don't ruin our marriage over this. We can work things out. We can go to a marriage counseling, which is last stop before Tool. Seriously talk to me. Marriage counseling won't change how you feel about me. Look, I will try marriage counseling, but I want a trial separation for now. Can you imagine being the marriage counselor and saying, well, you see, she's been in this porn with 6 people, 5 guys and 1 chick. And I'm just trying to figure out, how do I get her to do that with me? Like, imagine trying to, but you're the marriage counselor. You're trying to sort that shit out. Please don't do this. Don't throw away our marriage for what I did in college. Me. Stop fucking acting like it's a one-time thing. Be honest with me. How many guys did you fuck before me? Now here comes the jealousy part. This is like the retroactive cuckoldry part, right? She hasn't fucked around on him. She hasn't cheated on him. I remember they weren't married when this went down, but the jealousy and the mate guarding instinct kicks into gear here. Be honest with me. How many guys did you fuck before me? How many have you sucked, and how many guys have you let fuck you in the she? Why does it matter? I said I'll do them with you. Me. I am so fucking lucky. I got married to a whore that fucks like a prude. That's the freaking money shot right here. She. Please don't waste all of our marriage for this. I'm willing to change. Me. I'm not divorcing you, but I want a trial separation for now, and I want to see how things go. Right now, I feel sick looking at you. I ended up leaving my wife trying to stop me. She kept on begging, saying I could do anything I wanted to her. It was truly pathetic, and I lost all respect for my wife the way she was trying to manipulate me with sex. I'm staying at a motel right now. I've been getting constant calls from my wife. She has been asking me where I am. If I tell her that, she is going to confront me, and I don't feel like I'm ready for that. I feel so fucking drained. I feel bad for saying all those things to my wife, but I don't know what else to do. I'm so fucking hurt over this. As I said before, I wouldn't care if she had a promiscuous past. Seriously, wouldn't care. But the fact that she did all those things for other guys and doesn't do them for me hurts me to the deepest. I don't see how this marriage can be recovered. I can't change her. Can't change her attraction to me. My father has recently been diagnosed with a tumor in his lung, and that's already been stressing me out plenty bad. Okay. I don't know what happened on all that. Please tell me exactly what I can do. My confidence as a man has been destroyed. Before I found out about this, I tried to get my wife to open up sexually, but she completely shot it down. I really believe she isn't attracted to me in the way that she was to those other guys. That's why she felt completely fine with being their whore, but won't give me a blow. I want a woman that looks at me lustfully, not that has sex with me to fulfill the wifely duties. I don't feel entitled to other types of sex with my wife. I want her to want to do them. Now, even if she does do them, it will be out of guilt, not out of desire. As I said, anytime you negotiate desire, it only leads to obligated compliance. And that's what he's getting at in this. I don't see how we can recover our marriage. I feel really shitty that I won't be able to see my daughter as much, especially during her younger years, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So that's it. If you want to read this, it's Sammy, if you'd be so kind as to put the link in there. And I go into a little bit of detail, like what he was talking about, but rather than read that to you, I'll explain. So when I put that tweet out, I did so because that's this guy's experience in this scenario here is more and more common now. Like back then, you want to know why this was the most one of the most trafficked blog posts I ever put up at the Rational Mail, was because it's got the salaciousness, don't get me wrong, but enough people experienced something very close to this, right? And now remember, it was much more rare back in 2013 or back in, because remember, they've been married for 7 years. The incident probably occurred somewhere in the late 90s to early 2000s. And here's the other part. She held on to the tape. He could only found it if she was hanging on to it. How does the guy find it? Was it just like tossed to him by one of the guys in the group? I don't think so. I think she had the tape and hung on to it. Why? Why would she be doing it? Why would you not destroy it? Why would you not get rid of it? Right? No, I covered you, dude. I asked you already, like, what do you mean by this? Like getting favors from women? What, sexual favors? What favors are we talking about? Thanks. I covered this a while back. I don't think you were just listening to me. But the part that I'm getting at here, and the reason why I put this up as a tweet, like this is a thought experiment. Like when I say, better an honest slut who tells you up front, this is what I've done, than it is to like discover later on, or to get involved with some chick that you think is a good girl, but you're her second choice. And what do I mean by that? Well, the thing is like, well, for the most part, if you're looking at, I got to get my notes here. I do have notes for this one today. Because if you look at how trad cons want to sell you on this idea, and it doesn't be trad cons, like people, hopeful people want to sell you on this idea of, well, we need more babies. Like, what was it? JD Vance was just talking about this. If you want to do something for America, we need more babies. You know what that means, JD? Women got to get fucking. You got to start fucking your husband. You got to start. The fucking better start soon. Because that's what it boils down to. And until you can convince women that they need to have more sex with their husbands, I don't care what the fuck. You can make that plea all you want to. You can do what they do in South Korea. You can give financial incentives. You can like give them tax breaks. You can give them like free OBGYN visits, whatever it is. It doesn't make any difference if women don't want to fuck those guys. Doesn't matter. And the same thing with this guy in this old scenario, granted old, until until you can make that, until a woman wants to have sex with that guy, you're still dealing, like we've come to a point right now where we have taken care, so thoroughly taken care of women's shit. Hang on one sec. Sorry. No, it's not. Sorry, I have to respond to a text here real quick. We've come we've made the beta buck side of hypergamy so ubiquitous now that even if women don't have the actual security already locked in for their, the perception is that they do or they will. So like that one girl in the video that I initially showed in the beginning here, she was talking about hypergamy, right? Now, her definition or her understanding of hypergamy is probably incomplete, because what is hypergamy? Alpha fucks and beta bucks. She's only referring to the beta buck side because that's the side that is flattering to women, and it is unflattering to men because men today can't seem to get their shit together so that they can be better matches and more eligible bachelors for women. That's the whole problem. The problem is not about, men getting off their asses. And so if you could drag these kids out of the fucking basement like that, that's always like, how many basements are there? How many, like, these guys are lazy. They're just not doing anything. They're going to school, whatever. Like, you're still like their solution is this 20th century solution. Like, oh, they got to get to college so they can be more acceptable and better eligible bachelors for women. Well, how about this? What if I'm a crypto millionaire? Is that okay? I never went to college. I just made $1 million off of Hex. Is that okay? No, not enough. Still got to, take care of mama. Still got to be what she wants. Well, the problem is then, just like what this chick was saying before in quote unquote hypergamy. Well, women have become the men that they wanted to marry. Great. Well, guess what? Guys understand the game now. Guys understand hypergamy. Because it's so open. It's an open secret, right? When you look at like I said, Titanic, and you look at we joke about this, right? Rose at the end of the Titanic, she drops the diamond down at the bottom where Jack is and stuff. So this one kid who was like 16 years old, after 100 years of life, she's still pining for an alpha widow at the bottom of the fucking ocean, right? He fucked her so good that one time that she has to, but fuck on the guy that like the guy I settled for. Screw that. Even though he gave me this fantastic life, he made it possible for me to pretend I'm Amelia Earhart and ride English horses and have multiple kids and multiple grandkids. And that guy doesn't show up anywhere in the fucking movie. But you know what? She's still pining and still agonizing over Jack at the bottom of the ocean. Drops the $250 million diamond down at the bottom of the ocean. Right? Oh, it does. Our love is more valuable than this. And why? Why is that? Because it's open hypergamy. When I've got another essay where I make comparisons between Saving Private Ryan and between the endings of Saving Private Ryan and Titanic. So at the end of Titanic, you have Rose, who is still an alpha widow of Jack, and still pining for him. And then they're in heaven. They're finally reunited in death. You know what happens at the end of Private Ryan? Private Ryan is he's at Arlington, and he's over, I think it's Captain Miller's grave, and he's there with his kids. Now, he's got grandkids, he's got a wife, he's got everything, and he's there and he's shedding tears and he's crying. And because now at the end of his life, just like Rose, at the end of his life, Private Ryan is wondering if he earned it, right? Because remember, what does Captain Miller say at the end of God, we gotta watch this again. At the end of Private Ryan, he says, "Earn this." That was the last fucking words that Captain Miller says. I think it's Captain Miller. Tom Hanks' character says to Private Ryan, "Earn this." And his question, he's like agonizing question that he asks his wife, who doesn't understand any of this, is, "Am I good enough? Did I earn this? Am I a good man?" He actually says, "Am I a good man?" He's worried about being qualifying for it. My dogs are going off. He's worried about qualifying. He's worried about his performance. Whereas Rose, plunk, That's the end of it. And that's the difference. That's what I'm getting at right here. The guy who provided for Rose to have all that great stuff, he's the second choice. One of the reasons why I even wrote that, and I even have sort of gotten into this recently, is because I was listening to I was reading an article or listening to a conversation on a podcast, and it was about this woman who was talking to her grandmother, and again towards the end of her life, and was saying something to the effect that she could never fully give herself to her husband because he wasn't the one. He wasn't her first choice. He was the one that would do. There was a Jack in her background. There was a guy who, whatever, through romance, through laying down the good, I don't know. But he was not her first choice. He was the guy, rich guy. He was the guy who he'll have to do. Grab him and bring him in. And that's why I put this out there. Would you rather be like, when I'd say, would you rather? I said, rather an honest slut than a woman who makes you her second choice or makes you you weren't her first choice. Because what's more damaging to you? Living with it, she's a slut. She's up front about it. She really wants you and everything like that. Better that than being the second choice, because that is longer lasting consequences to it. Like the greatest love story ever told, the Titanic, the greatest love story ever told. It's basically the very much a formula of romance novels, right? The one that got away, or the one that died, right? Oh, he died at Dead Man's Curve. Well, he'll never, anybody else will always play second fiddle to Johnny, who died at Dead Man's Curve, or Jack at the bottom of the fucking ocean, right? Because the guy who provided for her for her luxurious life and probably a $250 million diamond, that guy doesn't even feature in the film, and he doesn't even feature in the pictures at the end of the movie. Why is that? Well, it's this. The reason I'm bringing this up, because this is an example of open hypergamy. Alpha fucks, beta bucks. The alpha fucks is down at the bottom of the ocean, right? The guy in our story here in Saving the Best, he's second choice. He's not the one she wants to get with. He just do. He provides maybe some emotional support. There's reasons why women do this, right? It's emotional security. It could be financial security. It could be like she wants to have kids, or maybe she realizes she can no longer, compete at the same level she did in the sexual marketplace. And it's like, I got to, as I said, in the epiphany phase, that's when women will go and say, well, I got to find a guy to go for the long haul. And none of these guys that I want to get with are willing to commit. None of these guys are willing. I can't lock any of them down. But this guy over here who doesn't know any better, this guy over here who's still kind of blue pill, this guy over here who's a little bit beta, and he's romancy and kind of funny, kind of quirky, whatever. He's not as exciting as freaking Chad, but he'll do. That is hell. That is hell waiting to happen. And I have dealt with the reason I'm getting into this today is because I deal with guys who are older, guys who got divorced between 43, 45. That's why I started Reignite, right? Was to help guys sort of like get past this instead of, off themselves. And most of them have a very similar story. They got married, not because they were their first choice. They got married because that woman, they thought their ship had come in. They'd never been with a girl that hot. Well, how old is she? 30. Time to get married. He's 33. She's 30. That's the average age of first marriage. 33 for men, 32 for men, 30 for women. It's not a coincidence. That's when women say, oh, my biological clock is ticking. Well, at 30, imagine that. No, your biological clock was ticking at 23. You just couldn't lock anybody down. You wanted to explore your options. And why not? You think that if women believe that they've got everything locked down for the beta bucks aspects of hypergamy, then why wouldn't they want to wait as long as they possibly could to see if they could lock down a guy who's exciting and fun like Jack at the bottom of the fucking ocean? Why wouldn't they do that? It's just, I don't blame him. It's pragmatic. Let's see. I've got from 18 until I'm 28. Why would I get married before 28? It seems to me like it's impractical. Now, I'm not saying people don't do that or they don't fall in love or whatever. I'm not saying that women don't get married before or after that. I do know the average age. I mean, more power to my daughter got married when she was 25, right? Still right in the cusp, right? But the fact of the matter is like women have a window of 18 to 28. Why wouldn't you push that as far as you possibly could? Well, I'm 20. I got to stick the landing now. Okay, who's left in the? I got to find somebody in the club before the lights come on at 2 a.m. That's why. And I'll tell you right now, like if I say, like, you guys are probably familiar with the Sheryl Sandberg quote where she was like, it was in her book called Lean In, also 2013, where she says, date the bad boys, date the bad for you, not the abusive, but date the bad boys, date the not good for you boys, date the fun guys, the exciting guys, but don't marry them, because what makes them exciting does not make them good potential husbands. Well, what does? Being stupid enough to, being blue pill and beta and not seeing open hypergamy right in front of your face. That's number one. It comes down to really hypergamy being out in the open. So one of the main point I'm trying to make today is that because hypergamy is so well known right now, more and more guys are seeing the code in the matrix here. So even if you could get these guys out of the basement, even if you could get these guys to stop their porn addictions or get them off of playing video games and do all the things that they want the real men do at TPUSA, right? Even if you could do that, guys are still going to be hesitant to get married unless they're really religious and you can find somebody who could shame them into doing so or gaslight them into doing so. But because they see the writing on the wall, they see Titanic. I remember the first time I wrote this essay. It was called Open Hypergamy, right? Hypergamy used to be concealed. It used to be something that women went, shh, don't fucking tell him. What are we talking about? I'm going to go fuck all these guys. But shh. And then when at 30, when we're not married, I'll marry Ross from Friends. Rachel will marry Ross at 30 because he's a great guy, but I got to find out if there's somebody better before I'm 30. That's fucked up. You remember we were talking about how it's a horror show to watch those like sitcoms of the 90s? That's fucked up. But we thought it was funny back then because we didn't know any better. It was concealed. We didn't have evolutionary psychology to tell us that, or not what we do now. We didn't have social media to throw it in our faces 24/7. So it's not the fact that these guys aren't prepared for it, or they're not going to college or whatever else. Even if they did, and they became the high value men that were eligible bachelors for all these women who can't find a man, the reason they can't is because men understand the game. They understand open hypergamy. They know they're not going to sign up for shit like that. I don't want to be second fucking choice. I want to be first fucking choice. I want to be the guy that you wouldn't think about having, an orgy with. Sex with. I want me. This is the guy. I'm supposed to be your husband for the rest of your fucking life. Why wouldn't I want that? Why wouldn't you want that? Why would you settle? And of course, women, they wouldn't. You want to know why fertility is in the shitter? You want to know why marriage is at the lowest it's ever been in recorded history? That's why. Oh, it's feminism. No, it's open hypergamy. It's this knowledge base, this database, this open secret right now that guys don't want to sign up for. They don't want to be like, it's better to have an honest slut than it is to have a woman who you are the second choice for. I don't want to be the guy at the end of my wife's life where she's like having this deathbed confession to our granddaughter saying, well, there's a part of me that I could never really give to him. Well, who could you give it to? Oh, this guy back in college. I was so crazy. We had a 6-way. Let me tell you, honey. Like imagine this woman who's trying to get back with her husband after he finds the tape. Right? Those were the ones that those guys, and those 5 guys and one woman. That's who she could give it all to. That's who she could abandon all self-consciousness to. That's who she really desired.